I failed. I admit it, I failed. And here I am to confess to that failure and to talk a little bit about this day. I'm going to talk about my feelings, and then we're going to go on a really fun field trip, because sometimes when you confess to not loveliness, it's important to do something fun right afterwards. Hey, I'm Julie. If we haven't met before, hello, hello, hello. I believe that this can be the best part of our lives. But if you are getting close to retirement age, at retirement age, empty nesting, getting to your third act in life, and just know that there is more goodness to come, you're in the right place. If any of this feels resonant to you, please subscribe, come back, check out the playlist. And when 2026 started, I decided I was going to do 26 quirky experiments throughout the year. Started strong. I first started walking around with a book on my head. I even walked around with a book on my head in public. I walked around with a book on my head. I think I walked down a trail with a book on my head. I hope I shared that video, by the way. And then I left for a road trip across the country. And so I did an easy one. I was convivial. Convivial is my word of the year. It means like very hospitable, friendly, welcoming. And so that basically means that I talk to strangers a lot and that kind of thing. Make people feel at home, even when I'm not at my home. And then I decided that I wanted to try juggling. Now, I can juggle wrong just fine, but I was determined to juggle right. And I was doing this at the same time that I was house sitting, dog sitting, and taking care of a 5-year-old. This was a lot, and I did not succeed in that quirky goal. Do I still want to learn to juggle? Yes. But I got this big block because I never talked about it with all y'all. I never said, oh my gosh, I failed at juggling. So let me just pick myself up, dust myself off, and get back at it. So that's the plan. However, I'm going to do it when I'm firmly planted. So I will try that again, probably in September, because there's some big stuff happening in my family, and I know that I'll be in one place. I won't be house sitting, I won't be traveling, I won't be going back and forth from places like I've been doing for the last too long. So now it's time to talk about more quirky goals that aren't quite as quirky, because one of the things that I've discovered in experimenting is when you're going through a lot of things, it's best to build up successes. So I have built up some success in a couple definitely quirky goals, but that are really within the things that I know already. So after we go on our field trip, I am going to come back here and I will talk about some of my quirky goals that are in progress right now. And we're going to do some short ones, some short consecutive goals that will be easy to reach, easy to say I did it. And you can follow along and even try yourself. Okay? You ready for this? I just heard that song. I'm not going to sing it because it might be kind of scary. But it goes like this. You all ready for this? Bum, bum, bum. No, I'm not wrong tune. I can't even think of the right tune. But they play it oftentimes at sporting events. Maybe you can hum along. And I'll somehow get it by osmosis. But anyway, right now we're going to go on a really, really, really cool field trip here in the Washington, D.C. area where I happen to be. So today we're going on an adventure to one of my favorite, well, I haven't been there ever before. It's Olmsted Island, which is a part of, we're going to Olmsted Island, which is part of a canal national park in Washington, D.C. That park includes the Great Falls and a lot of other cool places you may have heard of. I am surprised that I never got taken there as a child, or maybe I did and I've just forgotten. Anyway, I'm really excited to go there. Love to see more about the Olmsted family, and I'm excited to share this experience with you. So let's do this thing. We may be compelled to visit new places for a variety of reasons, and I believe each of these reasons is valid. I wanted to visit the C&O Canal National Historic Park because I read that there was an Olmsted location there. If you don't know, the Olmsted name is connected with familiar landscape design. You may recognize Frederick Law Olmsted's work or his son's work. See right there, Olmsted Island Trail? That's where we're headed. I felt as at home as soon as we arrived. There were all kinds of volunteers gathering as a part of the C&O Canal Trust, who maintain and keep this place looking beautiful, all voluntarily. Right now we're walking towards the visitor center, and there it is, the towpath and the C&O, otherwise known as Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, a canal that runs from Washington, D.C. to 184 miles later in Maryland. This just calls to me, look at the dogwood, the old building. It was made in the 1830s, and all of the people working together and collaborating. This is like chocolate candy for Julie. This is like Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. This is like E.L. Fudge cookies. That's a nod to my friends Kay and Rob. But my main thing was Olmsted, 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 like a heartbeat in my chest. Olmsted, Olmsted, Olmsted. And as I was saying, you might not know who he is, but you do know Central Park in New York City, the Capitol building grounds in Washington, D.C., maybe Stanford University. He even designed historical cemeteries, the Emerald Necklace in Boston, and so much more. Pay attention to how you are feeling as you watch these images go past you on the walk or the trail to Olmsted Island. I wanted to pop in and say the views that you're seeing can only be made by foot. You can't see these views any other way. It's a miracle. Olmsted Island is in the middle of the Great Falls of the Potomac River, accessed on the Maryland side of the C&O Canal Historic Park, designated as such, by the way, by Dwight Eisenhower. The island has a unique ecosphere not seen anywhere else on the planet. It is a one of a kind, and one needs to walk there on winding paths, boardwalks, and bridges. It's so Olmstedian. What a treasure. What a delight. Talk about a short walk with a great view. This is astounding to me. And by the time we got out to the end of this particular trail on Olmsted Island, I had to sit and write and contemplate and just enjoy the spectacular views that no one else could see because they didn't walk there. This is heaven. This is heaven. Absolute heaven. Take a moment to enjoy seeing what I am seeing.
This is not allowed. No. It's clearly an agriculture. I don't have that. No. Maybe good, but one kid sitting next to the
This National Historic Park was saved by Justice William Douglas of the Supreme Court. Can you believe it? All of this would not be here if it wasn't for his legacy of keeping all of this history from Revolutionary War era to now alive for visitors like you and me to enjoy. This is the restored old tavern where people would gather back in the 19th century. And now people gather for an entirely different reason. And I feel so honored to have experienced this, and I'm already planning my next trip. Anywhere from Cumberland, Maryland, down to Washington, D.C., I will be back, my friends. I will be back to adventure along the towpath of the canal and all the sights of the cities along the way. So grateful that I can house sit in a place that is so close to all this history, all of this nature, all of this discovery, much of it available only on foot. I didn't finish that video yesterday. I was planning to finish, get it all brilliantly together for you, and I didn't. And I'm not calling that a fail. So as we come back to talk about failures and juggling and quirkiness, I wanted to let you know what I'm going to be doing experiment-wise and what I have been doing. So one of the experiments I have been doing, which is very quirky, most people have never heard of this, but I've been writing 100 sentences every morning. And they oftentimes people say, how do you come up with 100 sentences? It sounds like a lot. For someone like me, it's not a lot. And it requires discipline and structure and an openness to find new sentences to write and how to take old sentences and rewrite them. It reminds me of a book that I read this year called Think Again by Adam Grant. That's about revision, making mistakes, getting better, growing. Remarkable book. And so I have been doing that for almost 30 days. So I'm going to go back and see when I started, and then I will complete and perhaps continue. That's part of the thing with these experiments, was starting and continuing. Like, I'm going to continue juggling and really studying it in the fall and really keeping track. So the next one that I'm going to start today, and that is walking backwards. I had alluded to that back in Dana Point. I remember I was walking backwards, but I never took it on fully. So I'm going to walk backwards from April 23rd to April 30th. And then I'll report back on that. I have some other writing things that I'm doing, and I will bring those up to speed. I still want to do 26 quirky experiments, but they're not going to all be 2 weeks long. I've learned so much about myself through this season of being away for 2 months and then house sitting again and then moving, that this is a perfect time. And I've also learned that what seems like a mistake is often more of a divine thing. Like this morning, I was sitting here looking out over the backyard and doing my morning writing routine, and I noticed an iris had bloomed overnight, and that turned into a whole series of events that just made my heart feel so happy. I also do visualization meditations, or I do meditations every morning, and I really wanted a good visualization meditation. I hadn't found one. This morning, I found the perfect one. And I truly believe it was because yesterday I was so upset and so befuddled and bewildered for the last couple of days, actually. And yet I left my heart open. And I think that is the message for all of us. And it's also leaving your heart open as we walked across to the Olmsted Island and enjoying the presence of the Great Falls and being present to the Great Falls, to Olmsted Island, to recognizing the things that I recognized about it and shared with you in this video. So if you've gotten this far, I'm so grateful. And I look forward to seeing you a week from now, and I'll talk about and show you how walking backwards went. It's a good thing. You're a good thing. She's a good thing. I can hear her upstairs. Thank you always and ever. You are a blessing in my life, beyond probably what you know.
What are you doing, Freya? Freya,